At 37, Marcus Hill had a life that ticked all the right boxes. A good corporate job in Phoenix, a nice apartment, a steady paycheck. From the outside, he was the picture of success. But on the inside, Marcus felt completely hollow. Every morning was the same. He'd sit in the same traffic, see the same billboards, watch the same sun rise over the desert. He'd listen to the same news, answer the same emails, and sit in the same meetings that never seemed to go anywhere meaningful. The worst part wasn't that he was bad at his job. The worst part was that he was good at it, just good enough to stay stuck. He'd been in operations management for a logistics company for 10 years. He knew the systems, the people, the office politics. He also knew, deep down, that the work hadn't challenged him in years. In the beginning, he'd tell himself to just be grateful. Millions of people would want his stability. But gratitude wasn't a cure for the quiet, creeping exhaustion that had settled over him. By 35, Marcus felt a kind of tired that sleep couldn't fix. Sundays filled him with an anxious dread for the week ahead. Mondays felt heavy before they even began. He stopped talking about goals or imagining different futures. He stopped asking himself what he truly wanted. Instead, the only question he asked was, how long until Friday? The breaking point didn't come from a big failure. Ironically, it came from a success. One afternoon, Marcus was promoted. A better title, a bit more pay, a lot more responsibility. His coworkers congratulated him, his parents were proud. But as he sat alone in his car after work, staring at the steering wheel, he didn't feel joy, he felt a wave of pure panic. Is this it? He thought. Is this what my life is going to look like for the next 20 years? That night, Marcus didn't sleep a wink. He had a terrifying realization. He had meticulously built a life that looked good to everyone else, but it didn't feel like his own. And the scariest part, no one else could fix it for him. But Marcus didn't quit his job the next day. He didn't have a dramatic meltdown or sell all his possessions to chase some wild fantasy. He did something much quieter, and in many ways, much harder. He started telling himself the truth. He finally admitted that he was burned out, not lazy, not weak, just completely disconnected from his own identity. For the first time in what felt like forever, Marcus asked himself a new question: who am I outside of this job? At first, the answer was nothing. He had no idea. And that empty space scared him more than the exhaustion ever had. So, Marcus started experimenting. He wasn't trying to escape. He was trying to explore. He enrolled in an evening class for data analytics. Not because he was desperate for a new career, but because learning something new made him feel awake again. He started reconnecting with old interests he'd let go of, like writing and mentoring younger coworkers. He started finding ways to solve problems creatively at work, instead of just following the same old procedures. He also started setting boundaries, nothing dramatic. Just small things to protect his energy and his time. He'd leave work at a reasonable hour. He'd say no to projects that didn't align with his new focus. Progress was slow. There were days filled with doubt. Voices in his head told him, "You're too old to start over. Just be grateful and stop complaining. You're going to regret this." But something fundamental inside him had shifted. He was no longer willing to trade his sense of purpose for a feeling of comfort. By the time he was 39, Marcus had developed a new set of skills. Skills that didn't just fit his company's needs, they elevated them. He became the go-to person for redesigning outdated processes and using analytics to make smarter decisions. People at work started to listen to him differently, not because he was speaking any louder, but because he was speaking with a newfound clarity and confidence. Then, a new role opened up within the company, a strategic position that hadn't even existed before. But Marcus didn't have to chase it. In a way, he had built himself into it. When leadership approached him, they didn't ask, "Are you interested?" They asked, "Would you consider leading this?" Marcus said yes, but this time on his own terms. He negotiated for a flexible schedule, creative autonomy, and a clear, measurable impact on the business. For the first time in over a decade, Marcus felt aligned. Not euphoric or giddy, just aligned. His work finally fit who he was. By 42, Marcus's life looked similar on paper. Same city, same company, but it felt entirely different. He had his energy back, he had a vision, he had a sense of ownership over his time and, more importantly, over his identity. One afternoon, a younger colleague, looking tired and defeated, sat across from him and said, "I feel so burned out already. I don't know what to do." Marcus paused for a moment. Then he shared the simple truth that most of us avoid. Don't wait until you hate your life to start listening to yourself. And that was the ultimate lesson. Marcus Hill didn't escape his responsibilities. He didn't blow up his life to chase a dream. He rebuilt his life from the inside out. And that's a message that so many of us need to hear. Feeling burned out doesn't mean you're a failure. Wanting something more from your life doesn't make you ungrateful. And deciding to start again isn't a sign of weakness. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can possibly do is admit that the life you've built no longer fits the person you're becoming. And then, give yourself permission to grow anyway. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. See you next time.